Hi everyone, Jai Hind and welcome to the platform of Study IQ IAS in English. My name is Bhavar Singh Suremix, India 115th course and qualified civil services in 2012, and I welcome you on the platform. In this session, we'll be talking about the curtailment or why India is wasting its solar power. That is what we'll be talking about. Now, when it comes to curtailment, what exactly is curtailment? Curtailment is the deliberate reduction of the solar power production that is below what it would have been physically possible to generate. Now, it is like throwing away the green fuel that we are talking about or throwing away the green energy that we are talking about. Now, when it comes to the curtailment, it represents the power system's last resort safety valve, and ultimately that is executed by the grid operators to prevent any kind of sudden frequency changes or collapse, and also the major grid failures as well. Now, why this is being done? This is very important because when it comes to India, so we have added a huge, or you can say massive 38 gigawatt of the solar energy in 2025 alone. However, when it comes to this particular issue, so this vast energy, it peaks at the midday. That is nearly about 12 p.m. And ultimately, it is when the regional domestic load is traditionally low. So we have the peak of the power that is at 12 p.m. But at the same time, the demand of the power at that point of time is quite low, and without localized energy storage assets that we have or any kind of the transmission corridors that can assume or subsume that kind of the power surge, there is we have to export the surplus. So ultimately the power is stranded at the regional polling stations, and that is the major reason why we are wasting the solar energy right now. Now, this is about the gestation time mismatch, because when it comes to the gestation, so when it comes to setting up of a complete solar plant or utility scale solar generation plant, it can be conceptualized and built just in about 12 to 18 months. But at the same time, when it comes to the transmission, so there is a lag. When it comes to developing of the high voltage interstate transmission system or ISTS, so it takes nearly about 30 to 36 months. So this is the gap that we are talking about. And when it comes to the transmission lags, so there are the complete grid lines, there are the electricity grid lines that have to be constructed, and there are the right of way hurdles as well, where when it comes to the securing the path approvals across the multi-jurisdictional private land holdings, there is regularly delays, and ultimately that delays the grid corridors as well by the years. Because when it comes to construction of the grid power lines, so the private landholders, they actually they go to the Supreme Court or to high courts that are there, and they demand that that should not be there. And we have seen this in the environmental justice as well, where when it comes to the Rajasthan, so Supreme Court have said that there would be no overhead of the laying of the transmission lines that would be there. So there are the right of way hurdles into laying down the power grid lines. That is also one of the major impact, or you can say that is a major hurdle then when it comes to the complete grid structure that has to be there. There are also supply chain crunch, because when it comes to the component procurement lead times for the heavy power transformers, they have expanded from 3 months to over 12 months. So when it comes to the power transformers, we all know that this is the era of AI, and ultimately there are data centers that have to be established for proper functioning of the AI systems, and they require lots of power, and that have actually upped the demand for the transformers, and that is the reason why we have the supply chain crisis or the crunch when it comes to these transformers that we are talking about. Now, there is another bottleneck as well, and that is about the coal power generation, thermals or the thermal power generation. We have the plants that are there. Now, the first thing is about the rigid technical minimums that is there, because when it comes to these coal power generators or the power plants that are there, basically they cannot scale down below 55% of their design limit or the capacity without risking any kind of the boiler instability. Now, this is a very important factor, because when it comes to Germany, in Germany, the coal power plants, they can scale down even to 25. And that is where we have the renewable energy that could, substitute the rest of the power. But in India, by design, we have problem that when it comes to scaling down of the power generation that happens through the coal power plants, and where we do not or we cannot scale down them below 55% of their total capacity. Also, there is the noon squeeze. That is very important, because when it comes to solar peak, The solar peak generation, it comes at the midday, that is somewhere around 12 o'clock. And ultimately the coal plants, they must stay synchronized to meet the evening peak. So the coal power plants, they have to keep running at that point of time, because when it comes to the demand peaks in the evening, and ultimately they cannot be ramped down further, and that is why the solar power, it has been curtailed. Also, there is the high restart tariffs as well. We cannot shut down the coal power plants, because when it comes to full shutting down of the coal unit, it takes hours to get it up and running, and ultimately it is extremely expensive, which prevents the operators from carrying out any of the midday shutdowns as well. And there is slow ramp rates as well. All right, when it comes to ramping up or ramping down, so Indian subcritical thermal units possess slow ramp rates. That is, per unit, they could be scaled down to 1.5 to 3% itself. And that makes it difficult to match the fast dynamic volatility of the cloud covers that are there. Now, when it comes to cloud covers, within minutes, the drop in the solar power generation could be nearly about 60%. And when it comes to ramp rates of the thermal power plants that we have, it is just 1.5 to 3%, which cannot match the ramp rates when it comes to the cloud cover. That leads to the fluctuations when it comes to the complete solar power generation. Now, over here, it is very important that we must know about the grid evolution. Now, what was there in 2010s? So there were the local grids that were there. We had the fragmented state-led operational grids which were there, which were operating independently, and they were customized strictly for the stable thermal base loads. Now, when it comes to 2015, so we had the national integration where we had synchronized all of the 5 regional grids that were there into the single grid. That is one nation, one grid, enabling the bulk trans-regional transfers that could be done. Now, in 2021, there was VRE explosion where we have seen massive solar boom in Rajasthan and Gujarat that had begun to stress the regional pooling substation capacities. And ultimately, right now, we are seeing the ecological hurdles as well. I have told you about Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court have laid down that there would be, in the case of the Great Indian Bird cabling rulings, it said that ultimately what will happen is that you can lay down the underground wires, but there will be no overhead wires that will be there for the grid strengthening. And again, these are certain of the hurdles that we are talking about when it comes to utilizing the complete power that we are generating from the solar capacity. Now, when it comes to real cost, you can see that we are losing, or we have wasted 2.3 terawatt hours. That is the solar curtailed between late May to December 2025. Now, this is over where we are talking about financial and ecological bill, because ultimately this is sustainable or substantial economic waste that we are talking about, where this waste, it translates to the developer compensation claims of nearly about 5,750 million to 6,900 million rupees, and that is equivalent to in dollars is 63 million to 76 million dollars. Now, this has have added to the financial frictions that is there, and ultimately, of course, if the producers are there, they are producing the solar power, so they will want to have that economic value that they have produced. Also, there is lost carbon offset, because if this green power, it had reached the grid, so it would have averted nearly about 2.1 million tons of carbon dioxide, equivalent to remove the, for removing the emissions from the 4 lakh of the households. And also there is deferred financing, because if what will happen is that we will not compensate the local curtailments, ultimately that will deteriorate the projects as well. So if we will not compensate the amount that is there for the compensation, so there will be deterioration of the project internal rates return, and ultimately that will shake the complete the system or the investor confidence that is there in India. And that is why it is very important that this is basically a risk on the financial, or this is a burden on the financial system as well. Now, there are certain hidden dimensions as well. That is, we have the grid inertia, where there is highly variable solar. And ultimately, the solar power that is quite variable, it reduces the physical grid inertia that is there. Now, the grid had been made in such a way that the bare minimum of the power that will be supplied throughout. And ultimately, the leads, the physical, or you can say the reduction, or you can say the variable solar energy that is there, it actually leads to the severe frequency spikes that necessitates the rapid reactive power support that legacy systems, they are basically not designed to supply. So there is quite high fluctuation that is there when it comes to the solar power. There is also DISCOM balance sheets that has to be taken into consideration because they are financially distressed right now. And ultimately, they remain locked in rigid thermal power purchase agreements with the coal units that are there, because ultimately that is a long-term investment, and they choose the cheap thermal fuel over the expensive battery-backed peak clean power also. There is also, when it comes to access, there is an asymmetry because the developers, they are accessing the grid under the temporal general network access or TGNA. They face the immediate dispatch curtailment. All right, there is immediate dispatch curtailment without any formal financial compensation that is provided to them. So ultimately, they are not getting the financial compensation, and that shifts the massive risk to the private players because they are not properly compensated for what actually they are preparing for. Now, this is what we call as the duck curve, because when it comes to 12 p.m., so 12 p.m. when it comes to the demand, so demand is quite low. But at the same time, when it comes to the, you can say the solar power. So solar power generate, like for example, when it comes to 6 a.m., that will be low, and it will peak at 12 p.m. And then it will continue to decline. And this looks like as if this is a duck. So this is a duck curve that we are talking about, and ultimately it illustrates the steep midday net load collapse because of the massive solar injection during the time of the day, and it is followed by rapid stressful evening where we have the demand that gets up, but the supply or the solar supply, it gets down. So without proper storage, the curtailment, it remains the only operational stabilizer that we have at present right now. Now, this is where it comes, that is the storage problem. We have the battery energy, storage, or BESS, that is the grid scale battery complexes, which had been deployed at the pooling hubs, and they act as the strategic shock absorbers, and they capture the excess midday solar, and ultimately they discharge it during the peak demand that is there. Now, there is another concept that is pumped hydro storage as well. Now, what is pumped hydro storage? So during the daytime, we have the maximum output of the solar power. Now what happens is that output is used for pumping the water above the ground level that is there. There could be reservoir that could be built, and ultimately that peak of the solar power that is generated during the daytime, that could be utilized for lifting up the water to a substantial level or to a height. And now when there is, ultimately in the evening, there will be no solar power, so that potential energy that had been stored in the water, that could be utilized for running the turbines, and ultimately we can get the energy through that as well. And that is what we have, that is PSP, or the pump hydro storage, where it utilizes the reservoir gravity as heavy water batteries, and the dynamic waiver is there for the interstate, charges for the transmission, for co-location the storage up to 2028, and that is also driving the commercial viability as well. There is also VGF deployment, where the Union Ministry is backing the rollout of the 43.8 gigawatt hours of the BESS through the major viability gap funding pipelines to stabilize the operations in India right now. So this is what we are talking about. It is about the storage solution that should be there. And ultimately, if there would be the storage solution, we'll be able to utilize the solar power generation that is there in the country. But I will lead you with a question, and I want you to answer this in the comment. And that is, can India realistically hit its non-fossil fuel reduction target of 500 gigawatt by 2030 without facing any extensive grid security related curtailments? So that would be all in this session. But at the same time, let me tell you that we are starting off the batch of the GS Foundation from 27th of June. And this batch is basically modeled upon the SMART framework, where you get the structured classes, you get the mentorship, you get the assessment, revision, and the test as well. Now, this batch is for those of the aspirants who will be appearing for Civil Services 2027, 28 or 29 as well. Now, this is very important because when it comes to the pricing, so of course you will get the maximum discount or the platform of Study IQ, but that will be available if you will use the code that is BRS Live. This is a code that you must have to use for availing the maximum discount on the platform. So that would be all in this session, but do not forget to like the session, do subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to share this session with your friends who are preparing for the civil services. And that would be all in this session. I hope that now you have a complete understanding why that we are curtailing lots of solar power and what is the solution that lies ahead. So that would be all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and Jai Hind.